Live from the Bob Levy Broadcast Center, overlooking the Toms River. It's time to get up, get out, do something. Wake up with Jeremy Grunin. Be a part of the show, 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
French Canadian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Ken Malagiere, in for Jeremy Grunin this morning, local small business owner, here for you on listening. You are listening to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, streaming live at WOBMAM.com, 1160 and 1310 on your radio AM dial, and of course live on the Radio Pup app at 1160 News Talk Radio, broadcasting from the beautiful Town Square Media Tower in downtown Toms River. Your current temperature is 46 degrees, getting up to a local high in the mid-60s today. I am very pleased to have with us our next guest, Pastor Jason Coache. I apologize for the mispronunciation earlier. It's French Canadian. Everyone should know that. So welcome, Jason. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Of course, the gentleman grew up in New Hampshire. He is a huge New England sports fan. We were just talking about that during the break. And he has moved to Bayville to be closer to Toms River. He was youth pastor at Bayside Chapel in Barnegat for just about 8 years. He does have a master's from Liberty University. He's working on a second one currently. He drinks at least a gallon of water a day. And ladies and gentlemen, he has felt led to start a church here in Toms River, Wellspring Church. We are pleased that this and more brings him into our studio this morning. So, Pastor Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
Awesome to have you with us.
Here.
Thank you. So basically, give us a little bit of a rundown here. What specifically brought you to the Jersey Shore?
Mm-hmm. So originally, I was living down in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Okay.
And kind of just finding myself, if you will, not to sound like a wicked hippie there, but
right.
Finding myself, kind of fighting with God a little bit, and turned some stuff around. And basically at Bayside, I through a friend, through actually his brother, I knew the pastor at Bayside Chapel, and he gave me a call and said, "Hey, would you be still interested in youth ministry?" And at that point, I was kind of ready to say yes. My life kind of got some things in order,
right.
and so got here because I knew somebody, because the job was completely beyond me. It's a job that you would at that point I would have needed a master's. I didn't have it yet,
right?
And so God just worked it out to get me into a position that I was not qualified for, but just knew the right people.
Right.
So that brought me here.
Being a youth pastor, is this a full-time position, or is it an avocation or a vocation?
It's a vocation, so it's full-time,
right.
And so yeah, I work. It's probably 50 to 60 hours a week with the schedules of youth.
Sure.
And so yeah, it's been about 8 years. I will be officially moving beyond youth ministry June 1st, so I'm still active in that role.
Awesome. What makes youth ministry and a pastor, a youth pastor, different from what some of us might know as like a youth group, for instance?
Yeah. So I run the youth group. So we have a meeting Monday night and Tuesday night. Monday nights is junior high. Tuesday nights is high school. Different than like a normal pastor, that is. Like I don't preach every single week on a Sunday morning, but I prepare lessons every single Monday and Tuesday night. There's a lot of counseling that goes in, a lot of issues that in the past year, I mean, countless issues of cutting, countless drug and alcohol things,
sure,
some sexual stuff, and so there's a lot of just counseling in a spiritual sense that goes into that, and just basically loving youth and coming alongside them while they deal with all things youth. There's a lot of stress and pressure, at all ages of life, but
sure.
especially right now in the high school and middle school world. A lot of I know, like a big push in our nation and the school systems is bullying, and I see that firsthand. I wouldn't say on a weekly basis, but pretty near a weekly basis with kids just I want to kill myself because so and so was mean to me, and that's their first thought. And
right.
It's so it's my honor to come alongside them and help them in their thinking in those areas.
What ages, Jason, do you work with mostly or predominantly, or is it all ages?
It's I mean all ages. Last week I did a funeral for an older gentleman, so I mean it's all ages that I'm able to minister to. But my role is really the 6th grade through 12th grade.
And the greatest challenges, or some of the greatest challenges, as you were saying, of course, bullying, which they deal with in all schools. So you provide, is it an after school program where part of that is obviously there's a component of prayer, but more specifically, is it specific days of the week that you do, and who can you reach out to join your organization? Is it open to most, or?
Yeah, it's open to anybody. We don't shy away from preaching God's word. And so if someone's willing to come in, like tonight, we're talking about money and how the Bible talks about money. And so we're not going to shy away from that. But we open our doors to the public, and that brings in some fun
conversation, I would imagine.
Yeah. So we've had some interesting situations come up because of that, but we don't believe that the church is for church people. We believe the church is for just people in general. And so if you're a person, you're welcome in our doors.
Awesome. Awesome. We like churches that are for people. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah. So as you do this, what days, if you're a parent and you're listening now, what days are your programs available?
So tonight, Monday nights is junior high, 6th through 8th grade, and then Tuesday nights is our high school ministry. High school students can come as soon as they want after school. The junior high ministry starts at as early as 6:30.
Really? So, yeah. Wow, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. What type of outreach or community events do you, as an organization or as your youth, what do you participate in the community?
So we do an event called Nightflix every year as a youth ministry, where basically we dump a few $1,000s into an event that we just say, if you want to come out and have a good time, come out and have a good time. We've brought in the past, we brought out Brian Head Welch, who was formerly, or he's back in Korn now, but he was the bass player in Korn. He's the guy with the dreadlocks. He looks all sorts of crazy. Right. And so he had a Christian band, Love and Death. We brought them in. And we just we bring in a bunch of stuff in our church, and but the way that we advertise that now is to try to give away as much free stuff as we can. Like we give away gum, we give away stickers, we give away magnets, we give away after school. We kind of wait there and just give out soda and give out. We gave out Mountain Dew. We didn't give out Monsters. The kids were asking for Monsters, but
you drew the line. Yeah, we drew the line at the fully sugared drinks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
excellent.
So we just advertise that through trying to love on kids and give out free stuff, and then as a church, we're trying something new this year. We had mentioned during the break Love Week, and so that's something new that we're doing as a church, where we're just going to spend a week. We have. I don't know if it's hundreds, but definitely a ton of projects that we're trying to get involved with. Talk to our local in Barnegat, the local public works, doing a lot of things there. Krista Langworthy and Carly Vowinski have been kind of compiling a bunch of projects, and so we are going to attack those projects and just love on our community, because that's what we should do.
That's what we should do. A little, no one can hurt for a little bit more love. So Love Week, Jason, April 24th through the 30th. Yep. My anniversary happens to be the 25th, so that's kind of cool. I'm in Love Week this year. That's great. And where you mentioned that you are able to generously give, obviously, to your programming. Does Bayside raise its funds traditionally through your congregation, or are there other ways people can give? How do you guys go about fundraising so that you can give so generously to this programming?
Yeah, we don't really have fundraising efforts. It's basically our congregation comes together and biblically gives what God calls us to give, a tithe, 10% of an income. Not everybody does that. If everybody done that, we could do a lot more.
You'd be moving on to bigger and greener pastures.
But no, there's no fundraising efforts. It's just people bless the church, and we in turn bless the community. And so, like every week, I pray that someone will win the Mega Millions or something,
and leave just a small portion to Bayside Chapel.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So,
awesome.
Feel free.
Awesome. With us this morning, we have Pastor Jason Coache with us from Bayside Youth. He is just starting and launching a new youth program for our community right here in Toms River, Wellspring Church. We're so pleased that this and more brings him to our program this morning. I'm Ken Malagiere. We'll be back with Jason after the break. In for Jeremy Grunin. You are listening to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, streaming live at WOBMAM.com. Join our conversation, 732-505-1160, if you have questions for Pastor Jason after this break.
Get more Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin at our website, WOBMAM.com. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Now, back to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310 and WOBMAM.com.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ken Malagiere, in for Jeremy Grunin this morning. You are listening to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, streaming live at WOBMAM.com, 1160 and 1310 on your radio AM dial, and live on the Radio Pup app, 1160 News Talk Radio. Please join the conversation, 732-505-1160, or online at WOBMAM.com. With me this morning is Pastor Jason Coache. Jason is very excited. They are starting, and I want to clarify for all of our listeners, it's not just a youth group or a youth program that the pastor has started with others in their church. Wellspring Church is a full church. Yep. And that will be meeting where, Jason?
Toms River Intermediate East, and we'll be starting up in February of next year.
Awesome. Really exciting stuff. So it is not just for the youth alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Wellspring Church will be for all in our community. And we were just covering Love Week. So Love Week will be April 24th through the 30th. And color that in a little bit more at the top of this interview.
Yeah. So we've been looking for projects for in the community. So we talked to the public works professionals, and so we're going to be doing some projects just around the town that could help them out. Basically, we said if you can provide the supplies, we'll provide the manpower. So we're doing some of that. We're going into some nursing homes. We've just been calling around to like food kitchens and things of that nature, and just saying we want to take a week where we're going to provide manpower, and how could manpower help you, and what can we get accomplished, and
perfect.
Just love on our community.
That's great. That's great. What are some of the greatest challenges that you find in the youth ministry field?
Yeah. So what we were saying earlier is like bullying, cutting, suicide, depression, just a lot of those emotional issues especially with bullying lately is something that has been on my radar, and from the bullying comes the cutting, and comes some of the suicidal issues, and then the families as well. Right. Broken families. It's the percentage of students that go back after our programming, go back to their homes where they have two parents that love each other, and a happy home. That's unfortunately the minority, and so that brings about a lot of issues now.
Yeah, and is it a challenge to reach the students, or and the young people in our community, or does the challenge come in more with the actual comforting, the work of the ministry?
It's more the work of it, because at least this is what I've experienced, is that when we open our doors and communicate and act in a way that's loving, and people want to come because they're not experiencing that in other facets of life, and so. Just because we look to be welcoming and loving, people show up.
So opening the doors is the easy part.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. It's getting them to either emote or feel comfortable enough to share in the love that you guys are so wonderfully and eloquently delivering to our community. So it's really a wonderful thing. It really warms our heart, certainly on this program and on others, to have people from the religious groups in our community on our air, telling our community that they are here for us. They are in and for our community. And Jason, yourself, and all the awesome work that you do for our youth is certainly commendable. And we appreciate you bringing God's grace to the Jersey Shore. When we come back, we're going to discuss what some of the greatest rewards are for Jason, and of course, what's next and how they're moving forward. You are listening to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. I'm Ken Malagiere, in for Jeremy Grunin. It is a beautiful day on the Jersey Shore. It might start out a little rainy, but the sun will be shining. We'll be right back.
The news is next. Live from the WOBM Newsroom, the Town Square, New Jersey News Network, and Fox News Radio. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. News Talk Radio, WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Live from Town Square Towers, at the heart of the Jersey Shore. Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin. Get up, get out, do something. Join the conversation. 732-505-1160. News Talk Radio WOBM AM 1160 and 1310. Listen online at WOBMAM.com.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for sharing part of your Monday morning with us. I'm Ken Malagiere, local small business owner, in for Jeremy Grunin. You are listening to Wake Up with Jeremy Grunin, streaming live at WOBMAM.com. Join our conversation at 732-505-1160. With me this morning is Pastor Jason Coache. Very pleased to have him in studio with us, talking about all of the wonderful and good things that he and his congregation are doing throughout the Jersey Shore, specifically the greater Toms River area. And Jason, what are some of the greatest rewards that come along with being a pastor and doing all of the good work that you do?
Yeah, I think it's when people start to get it. So like we were saying earlier, like I deal with a lot of youth right now, and they come from broken homes, and so when I get up on a stage and say that you have a heavenly Father that is madly in love with you, for many of them, they're like, well, my dad's kind of a jerk, and if God is a loving Father, then God must be a jerk. And so one of my main jobs is to break down that barrier and say, like, no, like here's how God shows love. God shows love through his church and uses his church to show love. And sometimes the church doesn't do a good job with that, but hopefully Bayside and others are doing that. And so when we show love, they start to understand that, yeah, God is a God of love. And so when they start to get that and accept his love, what he did on the cross, things of that nature. And so that's kind of the rewarding part, to see kids grow in that knowledge and understanding.
That's a beautiful sentiment, beautiful thought there. What keeps you here at the Jersey Shore, apart from your mission here, and I'm sure that's probably by and large the greatest part, but you are a native son of New Hampshire. What keeps you at the beautiful New Jersey Shore, and what do you and your family like most about it?
Okay, so I have 3 kids now, and they're 5 and under. And so personally, I love the golf. I enjoy golfing. It gives me about 5 hours of sanity.
All right, excellent. Right.
There's a lot of great golf in the area. We just moved into Bayville. We live over by the Cove, so we're about a half mile from the bay, and so it's been great just to, on a nice day, go for a walk, and within 15 minutes of walking, you're on the shore throwing rocks into the bay with my kids, and
absolutely,
and they're enjoying it, and so we definitely enjoy the Jersey Shore. My wife, for whatever reason, she's gonna hate me for saying this on the air, but she was a big fan of the Jersey Shore TV show.
Excellent.
And so she loved watching that trash, that train wreck.
And the Jersey Shore has spent millions of dollars trying to rectify that image.
Exactly.
Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate that.
So, but no, it's we just enjoy this area. It's there's a lot of just diversity. It's great. So
excellent. Well, we're happy to certainly have you as a member of our Shore community. I would certainly extend an invitation to you. Have you played at the Toms River Country Club?
No.
I would love to have you out as my guest sometime. That would be wonderful. Jason, how can people connect with you and get in touch with Wellspring and with the youth programs specifically?
Yeah. So Wellspring, we have right now we're pushing it really through our social media. So Twitter and Instagram is at NJ Wellspring. I was joking earlier that we would have loved to have been Wellspring NJ, but some stinking guy.
There's a sprinkler guy somewhere with Wellspring as his Twitter handle who hasn't used it in 2 years. So if that's you, give it up to Jason.
Yeah, exactly. We would love to switch that around. So that was the best we could do to be consistent on all platforms. And,
right.
Facebook is also the / NJ Wellspring.
Right.
So we would love to have you guys following us there. We post every day. And so,
which do you find the youth are certain? I mean, you obviously have your finger on the pulse here. Most of the youth in our community using Instagram. Is that where it's at?
Yeah, basically, the youth are about a year ahead of everybody else, and so parents and people at large are getting into Instagram now, and so they're transitioning out into other platforms
already. Right.
So they're still on Facebook. Like I
as
post
soon as mom has a Facebook profile, it's time to move on to Instagram.
Right. It's moving on or creating their 10 or 12 fake Facebook names. And so they're still on Facebook, though.
Sure.
They joke that they're not, but I post something and they're all talking about it. So they're there. They're just watching in the background.
Right.
But they're actively using Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah,
So,
it's so
Instagram.
important for any organization, especially one I would imagine that's connected to the youth, to have a social media presence.
Absolutely.
We say that, and obviously in the business community all of the time. That is where people are, on some cases, unfortunately, getting their news from also. But that is their resource. That's how they are reaching the outside world. Not least of all, then learning of the things that are going on in their community. So, so that is just to clarify at NJ Wellspring. That is your Twitter handle, and then the / NJ Wellspring. So that's awesome. Or / I guess you would say, right, Zach? Yeah, not /.
Yes. Which is, it's great for small business owners, right? Because it's a cheap platform. You don't have to pay a lot of money to get word out there and
push notices and all that good stuff. Yeah, it's a great opportunity that they've created these platforms for us. Really changes the game across the board in terms of communication. So, Jason, how else will you get the word out, and what will you do? Are there any innovative ways to reach the community, perhaps those that are not connected to social media?
Well, it's innovative, and I guess what typically when a church is planted, they have a $10,000, $25,000. If they have unlimited funds, it can go all the way up. But they have a limited funds to get the word out there, and so typically they'll spend $10,000 sending postcards out.
Right.
And so we didn't want to do that because if you don't go to church and you get a postcard saying, hey, there's a new church,
it's probably not going to do the trick.
Yeah, you don't really care. Right. So, and we do feel like we have a message about God's love and His redemption on the cross.
Right.
And so we want to earn the right to be heard. We don't expect people just to show up and be like, hey, let me hear what you have to say. And so I'd rather, instead of taking $10,000, let's say, and do a postcard campaign, I'd rather go to a local gas station and say, can I give the community free gas for a day, and just love and say, here's gas for a penny.
Let me know when that will be.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
I'll be the first one in line.
The day after our golf game.
Right, and I love me some Jesus too, but I will be there for my free gas.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with me, and he'll be back after this short